Finding love, having more money, getting a promotion, or moving out of your house. Desire is what drives us forward. It motivates us to overcome obstacles in our paths, withstand pain, face discomfort, and make sacrifices. Every character should want something, even if it's only a glass of water. Welcome to the Character Core. My name is Joy. I'm a published writer and I talk about all things character development simply because I love it. Today we are doing a deep dive in what your characters want most of all throughout the course of your story. We're talking about desire. This is, after all, what adds stakes and tension to your story, the nitty-gritty of what makes your characters behave the way they do, and what pushes them forward despite facing adversity. To get a good understanding of the topic of desire, let's first look at what the difference is between a want and a need. A need is something needed for basic human survival. This could be food, safety, stability, a roof over your head. Wants are anything people would like to have. A desire is a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wanting for something to happen. You need to know what your characters want in your story as early as possible to make sure that you can map their journey and the obstacles that they're going to face to obtain their desire. I've created 5 essential questions that you can answer to discover your character's most essential desire. Question number 1. What does your character want the most? You're going to identify one essential desire for your character that is going to propel them to take action. This could be based on the inciting incident that then forces them to move from their old world into their new world. I've called this the red thread desire because you're going to use it to weave through your story. The red thread desire can be as big or small as you want, and it may even evolve or change throughout the course of your character's journey. To give you an idea of what a red thread desire can look like, I've created an example for you. We're following the story of a young girl whose grandmother has fallen ill, and she's all that the young girl has left. And so this girl is motivated to bring her some homemade vegetable soup. The red thread desire in this case is that the young girl wants to bring her grandmother some homemade vegetable soup. Simple as that. Question number 2. Why does your character have this red thread desire? This is something that is essential for you as a writer to know, but your character may not be aware of. So the only exception is, of course, if your character is incredibly self-aware and they've done a lot of reflection and they are very conscious of why they do the things they do. Ask yourself why, and why again, and why again, and why again, until you literally can't anymore. And that means you've arrived at the core need that lies under the red thread desire. You can take your character's core need and place it in Maslow's hierarchy of needs to better understand them. From bottom to the top, we have physiological needs, safety needs, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. These categories can help you determine themes for your story and have them come back at a later point in your character's journey. Are you going to challenge them and make them face what they fear the most? Let's go back to Soup Girl. She wants to bring her grandmother homemade vegetable soup. Why? Because she wants her grandma to get better. Why? Because without her grandma, she's got no one, and she's afraid that she'll end up alone, and she isn't sure whether she would be okay. Now we've arrived at the core need that lies under her red thread desire of bringing her grandmother soup. When we place this insecurity, fear, and need in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we could say that she craves safety and love and belonging. Her family matters to her. Grandma is the only thing that she's still got left. And without her, she doesn't know what to do. As you've asked yourself the why, and have placed the core need into Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Ask yourself how you can use this to create themes for your story and raise the stakes as your character goes on their journey. For Soup Girl, she might be confronted with other people with large, tight-knit families, people who look out for each other. That emphasizes her fear of being completely alone. Question number 3. Why does your character think they have this red thread desire? Let's say your character is completely unaware of the core need that they have behind the red thread desire. They have to justify their actions and their motivation in some sort of way. You can create a placeholder reason for them through which they justify their behavior, their actions towards themselves and towards other people that they meet on their journey. You can then look at the actual reason behind the red thread desire and the reason that the characters have given themselves and look at how big the gap is. How are you going to fill this gap as the story unfolds? In which parts of your story are they going to be confronted with this core need? Let's go back to Soup Girl. She's stubborn, proud, independent. Her parents weren't around, and that means her grandmother raised her. She feels a sense of obligation towards her grandmother and values family above all. She would never admit to anyone, especially herself, that she is terrified of being alone. She believes that making her grandmother vegetable soup will not only contribute to her health, but is part of her family duty. So she justifies her journey by telling people, I have a duty to take care of my grandmother because my grandmother took care of me. Unconsciously though, she is terrified, but she's pushing that feeling away. And that is what she's going to discover throughout the course of her journey. Question number 4. Does your character actually need to obtain their red thread desire, or may they only think that they do? It is very likely that your character will develop or change throughout the course of their journey. You have the responsibility and power to decide whether they ultimately obtain their red thread desire and whether it was actually what they needed. At the start of your character's journey, they may think that they need to obtain something, but that may be completely misguided, or they obtain it and then realize that there is still a part of their journey that they are left to make, and their red thread desire changes or evolves. Going back to Soup Girl, she believes that she needs homemade vegetable soup to make her grandmother feel better. Not chicken soup, not store-bought soup. She needs the best ingredients, sourced locally, and she needs to make this soup herself, and only that will contribute to her grandmother feeling better. All the while, she has been ignoring her grandmother wanting to talk to her. She needs to know that her grandmother will live, or that Soup Girl herself will be safe, even if her grandmother passes away. But she is too scared to confront this, and so the homemade vegetable soup becomes a symbol of her journey. Question number 5. Has your character's red thread desire evolved or changed at the end of your story? Your characters will face obstacles and adversity on their path, and as they do so, they may peel one layer after another, realizing slowly what the actual core need is. This may change or evolve the red thread desire as they go. Going back to Soup Girl, she makes her vegetable soup. She has sourced the best ingredients out there. She's got a pot, she's got a ladle, everything. She has made the best soup of her entire life, and she feeds it to her grandmother. Her grandmother doesn't get better. She realizes this wasn't actually a remedy for whatever my grandmother has, and so her red thread desire evolves as she peels back one of the layers towards her core need. What she does is she goes around the village and asks everyone she knows, do you know what can remedy my grandmother's illness? How do I make my grandmother better? And as she realizes that no one actually knows what it is her grandmother has, she starts to become more desperate. This increases the tension as we now watch Soup Girl go from door to door in the middle of the night, pleading for people to help her. And she doesn't realize that the remedy may not actually exist. But as soon as she does, she's forced to face what she feared and needed all along, a conversation with her grandmother about her passing away. Her grandmother tells her she has to go, it's time, she's lived a full life, and Soup Girl realizes she is terrified of being alone. But grandmother and Soup Girl talk for a long time, and her grandmother tells her, you're not alone at all. The entire village is your community. All the people that helped her along the way on her quest for vegetable soup, and they will take care of her. They vowed to her grandmother a long time ago that they would take care of Soup Girl. She won't be alone. She won't be in danger. She already belongs. She is already safe. She just didn't realize it. And at the end of our journey, Soup Girl realizes she is going to be okay, whether her grandmother lives or not. If you found value in these 5 essential questions to discover your character's desires, please leave me a like and subscribe. Soup Girl really appreciates it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.